Where do you want to eat? Whatever works. What time should we meet? Anything is fine. Should we invite more people? Sure. You sound wonderfully easygoing. But stay with that word, because the real cost appears later, after everyone else has enjoyed the smoothness. The evening has not even started, and you are already doing a quiet job. You are reading the room, lowering your preferences, predicting tension, and choosing the answer that creates the least resistance. Nobody assigned this work because nobody can see it. Sometimes, easygoing is exactly what it looks like. You genuinely do not care which restaurant wins. You adapt without resentment and enjoy the surprise. Flexibility is a strength. The trouble begins when every preference feels more expensive to reveal than it is to erase. People begin to describe you as chill, uncomplicated, good with anything. The label feels affectionate, even flattering. Soon, it becomes a promise you never consciously made. This person will not make the room adjust. Now notice what happens when plans change. You do not only adapt behavior. You may adjust your face, soften your voice, hide irritation, reassure the disappointed person, and keep the energy moving. That expression management can become tiring even when every single moment looks small. Other people see your relaxed response, not the editing process behind it. They cannot count the preference you swallowed, the joke you pretended not to mind, or the extra hour you accepted. They receive the polished version and assume it required no effort. Because you adapt well, plans are more likely to bend around you. The late friend is placed beside you. The loud table becomes your table. The complicated guest becomes your conversation. Competence attracts responsibility, and flexibility attracts disruption. You become the shock absorber between different personalities. You translate bluntness, excuse lateness, fill silences, and redirect conflict. The gathering feels smoother because the impact travels through you instead of stopping the room. Genuine calm leaves some energy behind. Performed calm may require continuous monitoring. Is my face pleasant? Did that sound annoyed? Does anyone feel excluded? The outside can look identical, while the inside is doing very different work. Some quiet people are not afraid of company. They are tired of monitoring their impact on everyone around them. They rehearse tone, anticipate misunderstanding, and prevent their needs from becoming anyone else's inconvenience. Social time becomes less about presence and more about quality control. Your words say, "No problem." Your body records the noise, the vigilance, the missed meal, the late return, and the moment you wanted to leave. A pleasant evening and a depleted body can both be true. During the event, structure and expectation can carry you. You know what to do next. Exhaustion may arrive only after the door closes, when the performance is no longer required and the body finally sends the bill. This delay can make you doubt yourself. You were laughing an hour ago. Nothing terrible happened. Why do you suddenly want darkness, silence, and no questions? Because enjoyment does not cancel effort, and effort does not prove the evening was fake. Needing recovery after people does not automatically mean you dislike them. You can care deeply, enjoy the conversation, and still reach a limit. Affection and capacity are different measurements, even when guilt tries to merge them. If you never reveal the limit, resentment may become your only private boundary. You agree outwardly, then criticize the plan internally. The other person appears demanding, but they may be responding to the permission you keep giving. Eventually, the easiest way to stop adapting is to stop appearing. You decline everything, answer slowly, or vanish without a return path. Distance brings relief because nobody can ask the absent person to keep the room comfortable. The quiet feels wonderful, but nothing has taught the relationship what you actually need. When you return, people may resume the old pattern because the only information they received was your absence, not your preference. Even alone, you may remain reachable in your head. You replay conversations, monitor messages, and prepare for the next plan. Recovery is harder when the social room follows you home, through attention, even after every person has left. A social event ends on the calendar before it ends in the nervous system. Create a small transition, a quiet drive, a shower, a walk, music without conversation, or a few minutes with no incoming information. An ending helps attention come home. A perfect evening routine cannot compensate for a life where your preferences never count. Recovery matters, but so does reducing the work that creates the exhaustion. Otherwise, you become skilled at repairing a pattern you still refuse to change. Begin small. Name the restaurant you actually prefer. Say what time you need to leave. Choose the quieter seat. A preference is not a demand. It is information. People cannot practice considering you if you never enter the plan. Notice the reflex to erase your preference as soon as someone hesitates. Give the room a moment to rearrange. Healthy social systems can absorb small adjustments. If nobody else ever bends, your flexibility is not shared. It is being consumed. Instead of saying you are bad at socializing, name the actual condition. I can come, but I need to leave early. I want a quiet table. I do not have energy for a large group tonight. Specific limits are easier to respect than a global apology for who you are. When tension appears, pause before becoming translator, entertainer, or peacekeeper. Ask whether the room truly needs your help or whether discomfort simply feels unfamiliar. Other people can carry part of the social weight. You do not have to fill every quiet second. A silence may be awkward, thoughtful, tired, or perfectly ordinary. Letting it remain gives other people a chance to speak and gives you a chance to stop producing the atmosphere. Easygoing does not require pretending every joke lands or every change is harmless. You can say, I know you did not mean much by that, but it did not feel good to me. Honest feedback prevents friendliness from becoming self-erasure. Smoothing tries to remove discomfort before truth appears. Repair lets truth appear, then helps connection recover. One protects the image of harmony, the other builds evidence that a relationship can survive a real difference. You do not need to become difficult to stop being endlessly easy. There is no need for a dramatic declaration. Small, consistent choices teach people more than one forceful speech. A stated preference, a timely exit, a task you do not automatically absorb. People may say, I thought you did not care. That sentence can sting because you cared privately for years. Try hearing it as evidence of missing information, not proof that your preferences are unreasonable. You are updating the map. Some people will be relieved to know what you want. They may have been guessing, worrying, or carrying every decision. Your preference can reduce their labor too. Mutuality is often easier when nobody has to interpret permanent vagueness. Other people may resist because your old flexibility benefited them. They are not necessarily villains, but the pattern may be unequal. Their inconvenience is not automatic evidence that the new boundary is unfair. Not every gathering costs the same. A quiet walk, a crowded party, an open-ended visit, and a structured activity place different demands on attention. Plan by texture, not only duration. The right form can preserve connection without requiring the same performance. An event feels different when leaving is genuinely allowed. Arrange your own transportation when possible. Name the departure time early, or choose plans with a natural ending. A visible exit reduces the vigilance of wondering how to escape politely. Do not schedule every usable minute around other people. Leave a margin that belongs to nobody else. The goal is not to hoard time. It is to prevent social connection from consuming the recovery needed to remember why you wanted connection at all. Before the automatic sure, separate the plan from the role attached to it. Are you agreeing to dinner or to organizing dinner, choosing for everyone, driving someone home, and keeping the conversation alive? The hidden attachments often explain why a simple plan feels strangely heavy. Try attending without taking responsibility for the entire experience. Let someone else choose the table. Let a conversation wander without rescuing it. Let another person's mood belong to them for a while. Participation is enough. You do not have to manage the event to earn your place in it. The first invitation may be welcome. Exhaustion often grows when one plan quietly expands. Dinner becomes drinks. A brief visit becomes the whole evening. One friend brings several more. Ask again when the shape changes. Your original yes does not bind you to every new version. You do not need a perfect score for every interaction. A simple question is enough. If I choose this, what will I need before and after? Capacity becomes more realistic when the recovery is included in the plan instead of treated as a personal failure. Closeness does not require identical access. One relationship may thrive through quiet walks, another through occasional long calls, another through shared activities with minimal talking. Designing connection around what is sustainable can make it more genuine, not less serious. People who care about you may welcome usable information. Smaller groups are easier for me. I need notice before plans. Or, I go quiet after busy evenings. This is not a demand that everyone organize around you. It is an invitation to collaborate with reality. A shorter visit in which you remain present may offer more connection than a long visit spent performing okay. More time is not always more intimacy. Sometimes the honest limit protects the very attention and warmth you hoped to bring. Imagine flexibility that includes a frame. You can change the restaurant, but keep your departure time. You can welcome a guest, but not host every task. You can laugh off a small inconvenience and still speak when something matters. When preferences are visible, agreement becomes lighter. You no longer need to scan for the resentment hidden underneath because you know you are allowed to object. Yes can become a choice again instead of the uniform you wear into every room. The real cost of being endlessly easygoing was not one tiring night. It was making your effort disappear so completely that even you stopped counting it. Social exhaustion was the bill for all the friction you kept absorbing alone. You do not need to become rigid, loud, or hard to please. Keep the generosity. Keep the adaptability. Add a preference, an ending, and a little room for other people to adjust. The healthiest, easygoing person is still present inside the ease.